The top news posts of November 13th.
Thursday, November 13th, at 1:07 a.m. Donald Trump fights for control of MAGA movement as Jeffrey Epstein emails widen schism. Financial Times. New Jeffrey Epstein emails are rocking former President Donald Trump. Documents reveal Epstein alleged Trump knew of his conduct, even offering a reporter photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen. A biographer also urged Epstein to bash Trump for political cover. Senator J.D. Vance faces scrutiny as his 2021 Epstein tweet resurfaces, now called, aged like milk. These revelations intensify Trump's fight for MAGA control.
Thursday, November 13th, at 12:54 a.m. The Northern Lights decorate skies during geomagnetic storm Axios. Good evening. The Northern Lights have captivated U.S. skies, putting on a stunning show seen as far south as Florida. This celestial display is thanks to a G4 severe geomagnetic storm. For those who missed it, there's more potential. Experts indicate the aurora borealis could be visible again tonight, Wednesday, across areas including Austin, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Keep an eye out for this breathtaking phenomenon.
Wednesday, November 12th, at 11:55 p.m. November 12th government shutdown news. CNN. Breaking now. The longest U.S. government shutdown has ended. President Trump signed a funding bill today, bringing the record-long impasse to a close. Federal agencies are now preparing to welcome back furloughed staff and rescind any planned layoffs. The resolution, however, has drawn strong reactions, with House Democrats expressing their fury.
Wednesday, November 12th, at 11:39 p.m. Israel's president says shocking settler violence against Palestinians must end. Politico. Good evening. Israeli President Isaac Herzog is condemning a shocking surge of settler violence against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. Settlers recently set fire to a Palestinian warehouse and land, prompting Israel to arrest 4 individuals in connection with what authorities describe as a Jewish extremist attack. President Herzog insists these attacks must end.
Wednesday, November 12th, at 9:31 p.m. Former Gavin Newsom chief of staff federally charged with stealing from Xavier Becerra. San Francisco Chronicle. Breaking news. Governor Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff has been federally charged in a $225,000 fraud and corruption scheme. The Department of Justice alleges he stole from current Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra. While his attorney blasts the arrest as grandstanding, new revelations are expected as this corruption probe unfolds.
Wednesday, November 12th, at 8:14 p.m. Los Angeles limits rent hikes in historic vote. Politico. In a historic vote, the Los Angeles City Council has approved significant reforms to its rent control laws. For the first time in 40 years, the council is capping rent increases for rent-stabilized units at 4%, aiming to lower hikes for most tenants across the city.
Wednesday, November 12th, at 7:33 p.m. Food stamps may face lasting damage from Trump's halt to funds in shutdown. The New York Times. The recent government shutdown triggered concerns over federal food assistance. Initially, the Trump administration faced criticism and legal challenges, including a judge blocking attempts to force states from delivering SNAP benefits. Though the Supreme Court weighed in on payment orders, the administration ultimately pledged to pay full SNAP benefits once the shutdown concluded. States like Colorado acted swiftly, with their governor ensuring 100% of November's SNAP payments reached enrolled residents, minimizing disruption to vital aid.
Wednesday, November 12th, at 7:31 p.m. GoVini founder charged with 4 felonies. Federal News Network. Pittsburgh tech entrepreneur and founder of defense startup GoVini, Eric Gillespie, faces serious felony charges tonight. Gillespie, a major Pentagon contractor executive, was reportedly caught in a child sex sting operation, accused of attempting to solicit sex with a preteen girl.
Wednesday, November 12th, at 6:20 p.m. Representative Lauren Boebert helps force House vote on release of Epstein files. Colorado Public Radio. In Washington, a major showdown is brewing over the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. The U.S. House is set to vote next week on a bill compelling their full disclosure. Republican Representative Lauren Boebert has been instrumental in forcing this vote. However, former President Trump is now pushing GOP members to block the measure, even summoning Boebert to discuss the issue. The Trump administration previously held a Situation Room meeting regarding the House's efforts to release these Department of Justice files. Meanwhile, in Arizona, the state has sworn in its first Chicana representative, who plans to code switch in her new role.
Wednesday, November 12, at 5:27 p.m. House will vote to undo provision letting senators sue over January 6 related searches. NBC News. Good evening. House Republicans are pushing back on a controversial provision tucked into the new spending bill. The measure would grant senators the ability to sue over searches of their phone records connected to the January 6 Capitol attack. Critics have slammed the allowance, with House Republicans moving to strip the provision, calling it an unacceptable carve-out for lawmakers.
Wednesday, November 12, at 5:25 p.m. What will companies do without pennies? We asked McDonald's, Wendy's, Kroger and other top retailers. CBS News. Good evening. A historic day at the U.S. Mint as its final penny was pressed today in Philadelphia, ending over 230 years of production. This move sparks questions for major retailers like McDonald's and Kroger. How will businesses operate without the 1-cent coin? Plus, we'll delve into the cost of minting all our nation's coins.
Wednesday, November 12, at 4:13 p.m. Labour Party's internal fight goes public as Starmer's trouble grows. The New York Times. Labour's internal struggles are erupting publicly, escalating pressure on leader Keir Starmer. Facing accusations of a briefing war targeting ministers, Starmer insists he never authorised the attacks. However, senior figures like Miliband are demanding staff behind the leaks be sacked. This follows the Prime Minister's apology to Wes Streeting after a traitors' row, intensifying calls for Starmer to dismiss his chief of staff.
Wednesday, November 12, at 3:52 p.m. Where is my president? Some MAGA supporters in uproar over Trump's H-1B visa comments. ABCNews.com. Breaking tonight. Former President Trump is facing backlash from some MAGA supporters over his recent H-1B visa remarks. Trump argues the U.S. lacks specific talent for certain jobs, suggesting a come, train Americans, then go home strategy. This position contrasts with his past move to increase H-1B visa fees, and notably, the Trump Organization itself has requested a record number of foreign workers for 2025.
Wednesday, November 12, at 1:47 p.m. At least 37 dead after passenger bus falls into ravine in Peru. CBS News. Breaking news from Peru. At least 37 people are dead after a passenger bus plunged into a ravine in the southern Arequipa region. This tragic accident is now under investigation.
Wednesday, November 12, at 1:22 p.m. Sotheby's says a diamond brooch lost by Napoleon as his forces fled Waterloo sells for $44 million. App News. Good evening. A remarkable piece of history with a dazzling price tag made headlines today. A diamond brooch, once owned by Napoleon Bonaparte, has sold for $4.4 million at auction. Sotheby's confirmed the sale of the imperial jewel, famously lost by Napoleon as his forces fled the Battle of Waterloo. A lost treasure, now found and sold for a small fortune.